if you're new to this channel, it might feel like the first time that we're covering this. However, um, on seeing this article, especially what we're covering today, we're covering the Farmers Weekly, and of course, the title is below, that farms could fold in a no-deal Brexit, warns top economists. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, you've probably seen me do similar videos on this, because this is continuously a problem that comes up again and again and again and again. Now, there's a lot of people out there going to be saying, oh, well, didn't farmers vote for Brexit? Actually, like most of the public, it turned out to be 50-50. And, farmers, back when after the referendum, one of the first groups that went to the government to say, hey, are you going to replace the money that we get from the EU? The government response was, maybe. you know, the farm subsidies that UK farmers have specifically got from the EU was quite a big win, especially for Margaret Thatcher back when she originally got it. And this has benefited UK farms tremendously over many years. Now, of course, this was one of the, famous rebates. And, of course, back then, British farmers were struggling to compete with what were, at the time, European norms. And this money did help in a lot of transition. Now, I can definitely see the European argument and case for getting rid of it. I understand that. But back in the 80s, it was actually quite necessary for our farmers to help them ease into that transition and get them sorted out. Nowadays, they don't really need it as much, but for the smaller farms, it does help them out greatly and drastically. So we're looking, if you may remember, this was one of the stats we went over. 80% of all small farms could face bankruptcy. And once again, that hasn't changed. And now we're looking again at a potential no-deal scenario. Well, today we turn to Farmers Weekly, as we normally do when we cover these farming subjects. So farmers could fold in no-deal Brexit, warns top economist. So, a former NUF chief and economist has warned that 1 in 3 farms could be driven out of business within 5 years in the event of a no-deal Brexit. Sean Rickard said half of all farms were already unprofitable and would be even less so after the government phased out direct payments to growers and livestock producers. The situation would deteriorate even further with no deal, he added. It is very difficult to be precise, but I would be prepared to say that in the event of no deal, you would lose at least 1/3 of farmers and probably more, said Mr. Richard, who was the NUF chief economist from 1987 to 1995. Mr. Richard was speaking at a media briefing organised by Save British Farming Campaign. It says that the likelihood of the UK leaving the EU without a deal and reverting to World Trade Organization tariffs has increased, is an increasing reality. The farmers most at risk were small farmers. Full-time producers are already hanging on, with direct payments due to be phased out from next year, said Mr. Rickard. Those farms were unlikely to replace direct payments by joining DEFRA's forthcoming environmental land management scheme. Rather than supporting farmers based on the area of land farmed, the ELM scheme will reward producers who undertake environmental work. It will include measures to enhance soil health, protect wildlife, and help mitigate climate change. Rutland grower, Andrew Brown, said his 248 hectare farm at Calecourt near Uppingham was almost just as vulnerable, and already in the environmental stewardship. It was just too small to justify an extra employee, so Mr. Brown could take an off-farm job to supplement his income. We've been farming this area for about 300 years, said Mr. Brown. We've survived 2 world wars, recessions and previous pandemics, and this could be the end of us. The warning came as MPs returned to Parliament on Tuesday, the 1st of September, ahead of the crucial 4 months of Brexit talks. Westminster and Brussels have until the end of the Brexit transition period on the 31st of December to secure a new trade agreement. The NUF is urging parliamentarians from all sides to sign a pledge to support British agriculture, and which the Tories are not going to do that. We've already seen them not support the changes to the agricultural bill, that they wouldn't protect British farming and British standards. We know this because this is in preparation for the US deal that they want to do, so that they can just get rid of high standards. And you should have a high standards when it comes to food, because you should matter about, the level of health it goes, because you have seen in America especially, a lot of the outbreaks, especially in rural areas of the coronavirus, came from very poorly and very unsanitary conditions of pig farms, cow farms, and the likes. So, you want good environmental standards and, sanitary conditions for your animals and food and farms, because this does have an effect on public health. So these are important. We cannot stress, because this is what it's almost always really been about. Regulations are really, really important. And, there are reasons for why every single regulation out there exists. But this is what the Tories don't like, which is part of the reason behind Brexit, is that a lot of the half of the Conservative Party, well, we'll say half of them, do not like regulations. They want to get rid of them completely. But again, that's another story for another time. We're going off topic. Anyway, back to the article. So the union's annual Back British Farming Day will also see MPs wear wool and wheat sheaf pin badges during the Prime Minister's question times on the 9th of September. The NUF President, Madeleine Bates, has repeatedly said that a no-deal Brexit would be catastrophic for UK farmers. With the equivalent of 4 million sheep exported to the EU annually, the union says that lamb would be among the hardest hit. DEFRA has previously dismissed suggestions that thousands of farms would go bankrupt as a result of no deal. It has promised to implement contingency plans to minimise any disruption, including direct supported income to some farm sectors in the event that it is required. So, and they are not going to implement any form of rebate. One of the big issues, as we said at the beginning, farmers were the first lot of groups. And you saw similar reaction recently with Cornwall going, yeah, we'd like all that money we got from the EU, we'd like to continue getting that, but from the government now. That money is not going to be replaced. We said it very, very outliningly from the word go of this is all the money and it's stuff that we are going to lose from when we leave the EU. And saying that it's going to be replaced? No way is it ever going to be replaced. There is no example, because as much as the Tories like to say that they support farming and agriculture, they don't in the least. No Tory really supports farming and agriculture, even though many do live in these agricultural areas. It's not true. The Tories have done nothing in terms of agricultural reform or anything like that to actually help farmers. Once again, it was the EU that has helped British farmers more than the Tory party, who want so desperately for a no-deal Brexit and just to, pull up the invisible anchor that's apparently somewhere in the UK and, just sail off somewhere into the Pacific. It doesn't make a damn bit of sense. But this is Brexit, and it continues to make no sense. And we are going to face a very, very hard reality. And it's this reality that is always, always coming. And we've said it before on this channel. Brexit is about fantasies. But the fantasies cannot stand against the wall of reality. And that is and the Brexit clown car is just heading straight to a wall of reality. And it's going to be an absolute fantastic crash. That's, it's all we can say. It's all we can ever say. when we come and cover these exact same type of stories. And like I say, this is nothing new. If you've followed my channel for a while now, you'll be very aware that we've covered this story multiple times. And it's just a continuing carousel. It just continues round and round and round. These are concerns that have been carried over for 4 years and still have not been addressed. So with that, thank you for watching the video. Please do like and share this video. It helps out the channel lots. And if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button, because we do talk about Brexit and a lot about British politics, as well as occasionally some other stuff, depending where the whims will take me. Also, if you would like to support the channel in another way, there are links down below to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link, should you like to support the channel in that way. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.